Hey Latin 2 students, this is Miss Stewart again, and we are going to be working on the last chapter for this book. So we're not going to be using the book really much anymore after this chapter. So yay, congratulations. We'd normally actually be celebrating with a party, but I'm going to trust that you're going to celebrate on your own and do something fun to celebrate as of this Thursday when you take your test over this awesome book. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and introduce y'all to some slightly variations of the accusative and the ablative. We're going to focus today on the accusative, but I'm just going to make one video that goes into the ablative. So you're going to split the video as you need to do so according to the lesson plan. So at any rate, just to kind of review the ablative case first, just to get the endings back in your head. First declension would have a long A, or long IS if it's plural, long O in second declension, or long IS if it's plural, and then the short E if it's third declension, or ibus if it's plural. Remember, we're really only focusing on declensions 1 through 3. So just to kind of remind some things. So he told Notarawit a story, fabulam, about the death, de morte, of Caesar. So about the death would be your ablative there. And then Caesar departed, discessit, from the camp. From the camp would be your ablative prep phrase. Okay, so those are some things that we've seen before. Some of this is new, but you've actually seen all of it. We just haven't given it a name. So we're going to finally give it a name. So we've got in the first one Caesar, and then armatus, having been armed with a sword. Gladio would be an ablative of means. It is a tool. It is something that you can hold, that you can see, that you can feel. So gladio is an ablative of means. So he was armed by means of a sword, and therefore he hurried to the military camp. Okay? The next one, servi, the slaves, having been bound, winkti, by chains, katanis, and there's a really cute little picture of some chains over there, were working in the field. Okay? So what were the slaves tied up with? By chains. Again, that's an ablative of means. That's a tool. Okay? So by means and by weapons and by a sword, those are all tools, therefore they're ablative of means. There's another ablative, and I'm going to see if you can come up with a name for it, because you're probably going to have it exactly right. Nona hora, at the 9th hour, advenit, he arrived at the palace. So he arrived at the palace at the 9th hour. Decimo die discessit, he departed on the 10th day. Decimo like decimal, on the 10th day. So what would you call this use of the ablative? If it's at the 9th hour and it's on the 10th day, then it's an ablative of, you got it, ablative of time. So we have ablative of means, which is a tool, ablative of time, which is a relationship to some kind of day or time of day. All right, so now we're changing to the accusative. And again, you're going to use this video. I just kind of wanted to make one video for accusative and ablative. And so you're just going to watch whatever parts of the video is relevant to that day. So the accusative, just to remind you of the endings, you have an AM or a long AS for first declension, UM or a long OS if it's second declension, or if it's neuter plural, you're going to have an A. And then EM if it's third declension, or long ES or IA if it's neuter plural. Okay? So just to remind you, he told a story, fabulam, about the death of Caesar. So what use of the ablative is what use of the accusative is that? That would be the direct object. So that's typical. Going back to Latin 1. So now here's some new stuff. This is easy though, I promise. I have lived, ego habitavi, I have lived for many years, multos annos, for many years. Servi, the slaves, were working, laborabant, for 2 hours. So what would you call that use of the accusative if it's extending the time frame that something is going on? It is actually called extension of time or duration of time. So it's actually pretty easy, okay? So if it's telling you how long something's being done or how long something's taken to do, then it's accusative. If it's telling you when something was done, it's going to be ablative, okay? And we're going to be getting some practice with those, so don't worry. The concept will come to you just with a little practice. Let me know if you have any questions. Miss y'all.